Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And we about to get this started here. We're going to talk about KD, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. Do you think that's in the plans for the Knicks? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. Let's rock. Here we go. We got a video chat already in the building. We got Viv, we got Nate already in the building. And we're going to go over to these guys, get a quick little introduction, talk, and then we're going to discuss why I'm asking this question. And really, this is kind of going to be the basis of the show. Talking about KD, Kyrie, and maybe even Jimmy Butler. And, what are the pros? What are the cons? We'll touch on a few other topics. We'll look at the NBA playoffs, get an update on the playoffs and those type of things. It'll be a relatively short show, about an hour or so, even a little bit shorter. Not a lot going on in Knick land right now besides rumors because the NBA playoffs are on and popping. You seen what Damian Lillard did last night. I'm sure we'll have a discussion about Damian Lillard too. He's a guy that I've liked for a long time. He really is. And last night made me like him even more. Even more. So we'll discuss Damian Lillard and, if last night's performance or if these playoffs, his performance in these playoffs will catapult him above some of the other top point guards in the league. So let's get to it, man. Let's talk to Viv. Let's talk to Nate. Let's see what's popping. We got Mark just joining us. We got Guillermo just joining us. So, we got a nice little crew joining us here. And let me tell you guys, man, last night, it's a good thing that I'm not living in a building anymore because my neighbors would have been wilding out on me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was screaming all night because that game was crazy last night. It was a good game. It's a really good game. The game was crazy. My wife was all the way in another room with the door closed, so she probably couldn't hear me. My daughter maybe could hear me. But it was a great game. That was a classic game in my opinion. Ended perfectly with a 37-footer. But let me we're going to get a quick introduction from everybody, and we'll get into this KD, Kyrie, and Butler thing, and then we'll talk about Damian Lillard. All right. Viv, what's popping, man?
What's going on, Sam? How you doing?
I'm good, real good. You been watching the playoffs?
Yes, I watched the Jazz Rockets finale. Watched a good chunk of it so far. A lot of interesting games. I mean, yesterday's games was kind of some of them were a doozy. I didn't watch many of them on NBA TV just because I don't got the package at home. But I mean, like that the Philly Brooklyn game was a joke. Yeah. Crazy to think about it. Although I watched the one on Saturday. The Saturday game was that was a fun game to watch actually, with the back and forth. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second round in some of these matchups. I think it'll be a lot more interesting than what we've seen in the first round. Yeah. It's interesting actually. The Jazz, they were down one with like a minute or so to go, and then they were in a prime position to take the lead, and then all of a sudden, just like I think Mitchell just like fumbled the ball.
Well, they did some crazy things down the stretch. So they were down 3, right? And yep. Mitchell penetrated to the basket. As far as I could see, and I'd have to go back and look at the replay, but as far as I could see, he had the lane. And for whatever reason, he kicked it out to Ricky Rubio in the corner, who airballed the 3.
Yeah, that made no sense to me. The airball 3 made no sense. The pass that Ingles made to Gobert also made no sense because Ingles was right there.
That
he should have just taken a shot.
Right, that was my next one. PJ Tucker comes down and missed 2 free throws. Right? The Jazz come down. At first, I didn't know why Ingles why he didn't shoot the 3. It looked like to me, he caught the ball, he was curling off the ball. It looked to me like he had the open 3. He decided to go to the basket. Went to the basket, he was right. All he had to do was lay it in, put it in.
Yeah.
He decided to kick it back to Rudy Gobert, steal, and that was the game right there. So
they just fumbled a real good chance they could have won this if they really
they did.
wanted it. And I think Mitchell had what I call the John Starks Game 7 moment. He just couldn't buy a bucket.
Yeah. Well, the playoffs are a different beast, and when you're playing under that type of duress, it's going to be a lot tougher to shoot, a lot tougher to do certain things. So he'll get used to it.
He'll get used to it. In my opinion, I don't think he's a number 1 scorer. I think he'll be a damn good number 2. But as a number 1, I think I don't think he'll ever be as efficient that's required. That's necessary to be a true number 1 scorer in the league.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me get around. See who's here. KD, Kyrie Butler. We're gonna talk about it soon, folks. We just want to do a little introduction with everybody. I don't know. Maybe that's the plan. We'll see. Wormo, what's popping, man?
Yo, it was good, man. Yo, yeah, these playoffs, man, ridiculous, man. Like I said, Dame, one of my favorite regular season players, man. I want to see him do this further in the playoffs. Last year, he got embarrassed by Jrue Holiday, who was a very underrated player. I think the NBA players voted him the most underrated player in the league. And the year before that, he was just, it's the Warriors, but the way they played the Warriors, they played like they were scared. So hope it's a maturation of Dame Lillard. And first and foremost, I want to apologize to LeBron James. I want to apologize to him because of the fight that he almost had with a former Knick. I was on that former Knick side until yesterday, and that former Knick is Enes Kanter. And I just want to apologize to LeBron James because I wish he would have hit Enes Kanter after what Enes Kanter said yesterday. It's like the dude, I understand he got released, but he tried to show up the Knicks, but it's like, dude, your defense was one of the worst in the league. It was so bad that another player on the Suns, Devin Booker, literally tweeted pick and roll on, what was it, 00, whatever his number is. I've yet to see people directly go at people. Like, they do the little passive aggressive stuff, little memes here and there, or not memes, but quotes. But I've never seen someone say go at 00 because his defense is so inept. The guy also signed a player option to be here, even though it was iterated to him that, hey, we are rebuilding, so if you want to move on, you have our blessings, go on and move on. He opted here. So I don't know why he tried to take a shot at the Knicks. But again, he's going to get embarrassed because that defense is going to get exposed. His defense is going to get exposed. So all that stuff you're talking is weird. I'm happy for Dame and the Blazers, but I don't want to see Karen to win because he's just a piece of ish. He's a bum he's like a proud hoe who went to a new pimp, and now she thinks that she's hot-ish but you're still a hoe. Kanter, you are a hoe. So please, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be honest. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next round because some of Kanter's defense, in my opinion, had to do with the Knicks defense being so bad as well. That's just my opinion.
Sam, how could our backcourt, and I know people got him Frank, how could it be good if I'm leading a guy into Kanter and he can't defend?
Well
I can't wait to. I hope. I don't know. I think the Spurs are up 3-1, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. 3-2, 3-1, 3-2.
Who?
The Spurs over the Denver.
Denver over the Spurs 3-2.
Oh, I'm sorry, Denver over the. I apologize, Denver over Spurs. I hope Jokic. I want to see. Excuse my line. I want to see child abuse by Jokic on Kanter. I want to see Olajuwon abuse on Kanter because I just can't stand Kanter's face. A ball made good. I just don't understand. So, get to everyone else. I'm sorry, I didn't want to rain on, but screw Kanter. He's a hoe.
All right,
a big time hoe.
Well, my thing. What he said. I guess. He didn't have to take a shot at the Knicks if that's what he was doing, which most likely he was doing. He was taking a shot. But I will still. I'm not going to defend him in his defense, but I do think part of his defense had to do with the Knicks because in that screening role, that high screening role or any screening role, what we did not do well was cover that backside. our guards, there were a few times when it did happen. I seen Damian Dotson do it a few times, but there were a lot of times where we just did not cover that backside of the screen and roll. And I mean, in Portland, they have much better defenders. They're a much better basketball team, a much smarter basketball team. We'll see in the next round. He didn't get exposed this round, if that's what. But listen, and here's my thing. Here is my thing. When the Knicks played OKC, Steven Adams killed Enes Kanter, right? And he exposed, as everyone wants to say, exposed Enes Kanter. Well, why didn't he expose him in this series? Maybe it has to do with team defense as well. Either way, Kanter is no longer a New York Knick, and rightfully so. So it was best for the Knicks, and it was best for Kanter, obviously. Mark, what's good, man?
Not much, man. I'm watching
real
the
quick.
playoffs,
I want to get to this KD. We're gonna get to this KD, Kyrie, and Butler thing. So well, just bear with. We're getting through a few introductions. Go ahead, Mark.
No, man, I'm just watching. I just, came in the crib. I'm just watching the Golden State and Clippers right now. I just want them to get this game over with so they could advance to the next round to go against Houston and blow the doors off of them. But,
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready to start the show, you start the show.
But, I like to see, I like the Clippers because I like this style of basketball. So I'd like to see them, throw another blow at Golden State, because I like this style of basketball.
Yeah, I like they set. I like the sets Doc runs that he has, the plays that he runs for players like that.
Yeah. So right now, at least on my television, but I'm a little bit delayed. It's 41-39.
They're gonna fight it.
So it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight. Nate, I'm coming to you, man. Then we're gonna talk this KD, Kyrie, and Butler.
I don't even want to talk about.
Hold on, Nate. All right, there you go, my man.
Yeah, that final on that Rockets and Jazz game, man, that just shows you a team that's been there before and a team that hasn't been there before. Just make a lot of mental errors, and they had their chances.
Yeah, they had their chances.
But the experience of the Rockets, came out, and man, I tell you what, going forward, I don't think the Rockets are gonna beat the Warriors, man. Warriors just look like on another level.
Yeah.
And the Rockets they rely so much on Harden, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If he's not having a good game, they're in trouble.
Yeah. One last thing before we move on to this KD, Kyrie, and Butler thing, and the reason why I bring it up. What did you think about the style of defense they were playing on Harden?
I'm not a big fan of it because they pushed him into the paint, and that's what Harden to do. He likes to get in the paint and then either kick it out or take a shot or get fouled. I'm all for keeping him in front of you, but it's interesting that they did this other. To be honest with you, when I first saw it, I thought they were just playing bad defense, but then I heard that that's actually the scheme of Snyder.
Well, and the thing is this. If you can't keep somebody in front of you, which nobody can keep Harden in front of them, right? Mm-hmm. If you cannot keep somebody in front of you, then maybe you try to use that to your advantage. You try to flip it around. So what they were trying to do is have the defender go behind Harden, give Harden almost no choice but to go to the basket. And then at the last minute when Harden's getting ready to go up in the air, have Rudy Gobert or whomever it is come in and try to contest the shot. And hopefully he will.
Well, obviously it helps when you have a guy like Gobert who's 7'3", can block shots.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
You don't have a center that can block shots. It's basically they're going to get eaten up alive. But I mean, honestly, if I'm a defender, I'd rather keep Harden on the perimeter. In my opinion, I don't want him in the paint because, as you see, when he's smart, he can make those alley-oops to Capella or kick it out to a wide-open three.
Right.
So, you're giving him a lot more options to do. I'd rather keep him on the perimeter, man. If he makes a fall-away, 27-foot jumper shot or three-pointer, hey, man, just the way it is, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just me.
I look at it like this. The Jazz were down 3-1. right? You had to try to do something, and it was creative. Harden had 26 points, so it's not like he exploded for 40 or 50. You kind of kept him at an average.
It slowed him down.
He shot.
It slowed him down a little bit, but
I mean, look, he shot 38.5% from the field. He had 6 assists. He had 5 turnovers. Maybe it was effective.
Yeah, I think also too, Gobert made it really hard for him in the paint, because usually Harden, if he's got a clear lane to the basket, he's either going to get fouled or make a layup. But the fact is that Gobert's such a good rim protector that it made it a lot harder, because he altered a lot of shots and made Harden think twice about going to the paint, and that's why he kicked it out to more assists.
And the thing is this: when somebody penetrates and your center or whoever is protecting the rim is not prepared for that penetration, then it can be a problem. But when you've practiced this scheme, and this is what everybody is expecting, there's a big difference. So I think it was good coaching, man. I think it was good coaching. All right, let's go ahead and let's get to we're gonna get to this Jimmy Butler and KD and Kyrie stuff. And this is the reason why I bring it up. I was watching Colin Cowherd today, and he had Rick Bucher on the show. And this is not the first time that I heard Rick Bucher say this. He said this not too long ago. That KD and Jimmy Butler have spoken to each other about playing together. Right? And New York kind of seems like the place for those two guys to play together. Obviously, where there's smoke, there's fire. Listen to this. I want you to listen to Rick Bucher. This is Rick Bucher on Colin Cowherd earlier today. All right. Let you hear it. I'm going to bring it over, let you see it as well.
So I'm watching the Sixers series. If I'm the Lakers this morning, I'm rooting against the Sixers. I want the Raptors to crush Philadelphia and leave a bad taste in Jimmy Butler's mouth, because they're not getting rid of Embiid, and I doubt they get rid of Ben Simmons. And they'll keep Tobias Harris because he's cheaper than Jimmy Butler probably. And so if the Sixers get whacked by Toronto, I don't think they will. I think it's a very, very good series. I think it's a 6-7 game series. But if they lose in 5 or they lose, they'll probably fire their coach, and Jimmy Butler potentially says, I'm done. And he moves over to the Lakers because we know he loves Los Angeles. We know the Lakers aren't getting KD, Clay, Kyrie, Kawhi, blah, blah, blah. They're not getting those guys. Is that, if I'm the Lakers, I kind of think it's a Hail Mary, but Jimmy Butler's, if I was the Lakers, I would be all in on going to those games, making myself present. I think Butler's the guy they get.
You do know what happened with Jimmy Butler and a bunch of young guys in Chicago.
It was horrible.
In Minnesota.
Not great.
And Philadelphia.
Issues.
I don't want to bring him to L.A. and put him with another group of young guys.
But you trade all those guys to get Anthony Davis.
Okay, well, that's a whole other ball of wax, and I don't know that happens.
Yeah,
I mean, because you're saying that Jimmy Butler is... You're not saying...
I'm saying he's the life preserver to save this LeBron Laker thing. He's the life preserver, or the whole thing drowns.
And I'm saying that if he's your life preserver... we're lost at sea. It's just not, I don't see that as the solution. Now, I will say that regardless of what happens with Philadelphia, from what I've heard, Jimmy wants to move on. This is not a referendum on the success or failure of the Philadelphia 76ers. So he's looking to go elsewhere. But that said, I know that he and KD have talked. And if a matter of going to New York, he's made it very clear. He wants to go to a major market. It's not just L.A. It's L.A. or New York. If he has those two options, and if I'm the Knicks, I have the same concern about Jimmy Butler. But the difference is that in New York, you can shape the team around Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant. Here, I don't know that you're going to be able to move these young guys and get something in return.
So it's LeBron, young guys, and Butler. Listen, there's a big issue here that didn't get reported much. Brandon Ingram has a blood issue.
All right. So there you heard it. There you heard it. You heard what Rick Bucher said. This is the second time that I've heard him say this on this show. Second time that KD and Jimmy Butler have spoken. And they've spoken about playing together, obviously, as Rick Bucher just said. Jimmy Butler would like to play. He wants to play in a big market. He was in Chicago. See what happened there. He's gone. He's out of Chicago. Right? What other big markets are left? LA, New York. What else is left? So he wants to play in either Los Angeles or New York. Maybe that could be Brooklyn, too. KD, Jimmy Butler. I'm pretty sure you could find a way. The Knicks could find a way to get KD, Kyrie, and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler would take a discount. Or if a trade took place, a signing trade, the Knicks would have to complete a signing trade with the Philadelphia 76ers or with the Boston Celtics or the Golden State Warriors. Somewhere, some way, somehow, the Knicks would have to do a sign and trade because we just don't have enough clean cap space to sign three unless they all took a discount to come to New York. Right? I want to know what you guys think about it. First of all, if it's for me, if it's KD, Kyrie, and Butler, I'm with it. I'm with it all the way, 100%. If it's KD, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, they all come to New York, and we can find a way to do it without mortgaging the farm, because that scares me, that bothers me, because I want to have something to continue to build on moving forward. Because Jimmy Butler has said, I think he said this back in January, he's not going to play past 35 years old. I don't know if we would want him past 35 years old anyway, but he's not going to play past 35 years old. Right? That's not in his plans. So now you're talking about the Knicks having him. I think he turns 35 in like 2024, something like that. You talk about him being with the Knicks for 4 years. So this very well could be his last major contract if he's really going to retire by the age 35. As he says that, that's his plan, is to retire by the age 35. So, I want to know what you guys think about it, though. I just want to know. I want to know what you guys think about the whole KD, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. And then we'll talk about a few different combinations of the three. Maybe there's two of the three. Obviously, I know everyone in the chat, everyone would take KD and Kyrie. Pretty positive, at least. I know there's some people who, say different. All right, so let's see. Let's see what you guys think. All right, let's see what you guys think. Let's get on over here to the video chat, and I want to know what you guys think about it. All right. All right, Nate. I see you got your hand up. Go ahead, Nate.
So regarding this three people on the same team, Sim, that's a lot of personality on one team. I mean, these guys are very unhappy in their current situation, and they've made it very vocal in some points. And I don't know if we have a strong enough coach in Fizdale to harness those three players. On top of that, like, what is the culture? What is the accountability and all that? That's what concerns me about those three players. Now, if you're telling me KD and Jimmy Butler, I'm all for that because, KD is KD. Jimmy Butler's a really good defender, and you know, he can be that 1-2 punch like Oklahoma City has with Westbrook and Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Butler's not afraid to take the big shot. He's a fearless guy. He plays with heart. Yeah, he's got some injury issues, but I mean, he played pretty well for Philadelphia. You know, and I think he and KD would play really well together. As far as all three, man, I mean, Fizdale better have a plan of what the heck he's doing with this team, or have some kind of culture or structure set up when these guys come along, because it's going to be crazy. I mean, you saw how he handled Tim Hardaway. You know, he never reined him in, and now you've got three guys that are, let's just be honest, their personalities could be a little bit worse than Tim Hardaway's.
Definitely some strong personalities. Let me get to someone in the chat that asked the question. Orlando Toledo, you said KD $30 million, Kyrie $28 million, Butler $18 million. Do you think they're willing to sacrifice a la the Miami Big Three? Jimmy Butler's not going to take $18 million because that'd be taking a pay cut. He's making $19 million this year, a little more than $19 million. So he's not going to take $18 million, in my opinion. He wants to go to a big market. Right? That means, you know, he wants to play where he can get some more endorsements. Philly's a big market, though. But as Rick Bucher says, he's not
New York,
staying in Philly. But Philly is a big market. But he wants a big market, so money is on his mind. Money's on his mind. I'm not sure they're just going to take that much of a pay cut. He's definitely not going to take less than he's making this year. So $18 million, I don't think he's taking $18 million.
One thing also you have to take in consideration is that with these two guys, they're almost 30 or are 30. So their window is probably less than 5 years of really good play until they really start slowing down. And so the Knicks are mortgaging whatever cap money they have on these two players, and then the young guys we have and the draft pick to put this team together and get it to contention for a chip, you know?
Well, I'll say this. I think if you have KD, Kyrie, and you have Jimmy Butler in there, obviously it could be combustible, right? But I do think you have enough talent to, you know, make it out the East.
Oh, yeah. If you get all three of them to be on the same page, we're winning. We're winning. We're coming out of the East, hands down. I don't see anybody beating us in the East.
I mean, Milwaukee's pretty tough, but
I don't care how good Toronto and Milwaukee are.
You know, Milwaukee's pretty tough. Let me see. Viv, I'm coming to you, Viv. What do you think, man? What do you think about that pairing, that triplet of players?
How do you get it? That's I hear the conversation. The real question is how do you make it work?
The same way that we would have gotten Anthony Davis.
Yeah, right? but you got to do a sign and trade then, right?
Yeah, you got to do a sign and trade, and the Knicks are.
So if you do a sign and trade, right? So let's just break it down, right? So you do. First off, I think. Well, I'm not sure how the sign and trade works, because I think Butler's different. He's not a restricted free agent. He's an unrestricted free agent, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure how the sign. I think the sign and trade does work for unrestricted free agents too, but.
Yes. It's
a pretty rare thing that happens, that I haven't seen a sign and trade happen in almost, I don't know, like 7 years now. I think that's because of the cap work. But even then, right?
Well, I think part of that is because I believe now you've got to be under the cap in order to make a sign and trade.
So right, you got to be under the cap. Yeah. So then that really messes up everything, right? Because
Knicks would be under the cap.
If you do that, right? You say Durant starts at like $30 million, right? Let's just say 30, right? Mm-hmm. Kyrie starts at $30 million. Then you have $11 million left. That means your starting point almost can only really be like $19 or $20 million. And that Jimmy Butler, I think right now is making like $17 million, $17 million.
I think he's $19 million.
Was he? I thought it was like a 5-year 80. Let me check the numbers. But anyways, right? Like he's gonna. That's not really a big raise for what he's gonna get in the open market. So I don't know how it all fits, because you think about this, right? In a sign and trade, who are the pieces you give up? It's going to start with Jimmy Butler, or sorry, Kevin Knox, right?
Yep.
It's going to start with
Frank,
Lance Thomas. You're going to have to include Frank because of the money. You're going to have to include I don't know,
probably Smith Jr.
Yeah, picks, right? So then what do you end up with? You end up with those 3 players and a whole bunch of no left, right?
Right. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that it's the perfect scenario, but I'm not going to write it off the board. But who says that it has to be Jimmy Butler that you do the sign and trade for?
Well, who's the other one you sign and trade for? I mean,
you can do a sign and trade for any of them, right?
Well,
if you know that you've spoken with these 3 guys and they all want to come, you know that you can do a sign and trade for one of them. And yes, you'd be giving up young players. You can do a sign and trade for one of them to fit them in. And then you can sign the other players with the remainder of your cap space.
Yeah.
So I mean, all of them are unrestricted free agents. And basically it would work where, let's say it was Jimmy Butler, and the Philadelphia 76ers would sign him and then automatically trade him to the Knicks for whatever package. Right? The same thing for KD, the same thing for Kyrie, if my understanding is correct. And I believe that the Knicks can complete a sign and trade. The team that the player is coming to, I believe, needs to be under the cap, and the Knicks would be under the cap. Right? The only way that I see that the Knicks would do a sign and trade, the only way that I see that the Knicks would do a sign and trade is if they know that 3 players are coming, without a doubt, and that you're getting a 3-headed monster.
Yeah, but I mean, if we could have done it, there's reasons why it wasn't done, and I think there's probably luxury tax reasons, and there's some other limitations to these sign and trades. I'm actually trying to look it up right now as we're speaking.
Okay.
But think about this way, right? So we have a starting point of like 70 million, right?
Yeah, like 73 million. 73 million is the start.
Well, let's say 70, right? If doing a sign and trade requires you to trade the draft pick that you picked up, would you do it or no?
It's it depends on who you're doing the sign and trade for me.
Well,
so
I'll tell you, there's no incentive. So I wouldn't do the sign and trade then, because technically the sign and trade defeats the purpose for, teams that are signing a player doesn't want to do a sign and trade because they don't want to give anything in theory, right? So you only want to do it if in your situation you're trying to fit the cap. But would you do it if it meant you had to give up a guy like, say it's Zion Williamson, right?
Mm-hmm. If it was for Anthony Davis, I might consider it.
Well, that's different because that's not a sign and trade. Right. Then that's just a regular trade.
Well, yeah, that's just a regular trade. But I mean, it still ends up being a regular trade, even if because Philadelphia would sign Jimmy Butler, and then you'd make the trade the same way that you would trade for Anthony Davis. It ends up being the same thing.
No, the other tricky part with Philadelphia. So I believe Philadelphia technically has to be under the cap if they were to do it too, right?
I'm not
sure.
So
they can't. I don't think they can actually if they were to do the sign trade, even they have to technically be under the cap to actually initiate the trade. I think. I'm very sure you can't do it if you're over the cap. So that's why it makes things a little. It makes the finance a little tricky there.
I thought it was the team receiving the player.
Yeah, but I think I have to see that. I thought you can't do that. But I mean, you mentioned an interesting point. I'm really just trying to look it up, so that's why I'm kind of like, I'm not as definitive telling you what I could do.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you could have done it with any other, would it? I mean, what other options are there besides Jimmy Butler?
Well, that's true. I mean, the reason why I'm bringing it up is not because of Jimmy Butler. It's because apparently KD and Jimmy Butler have spoken about playing together. And if KD wants Jimmy Butler, if KD wants to come to New York and he wants Jimmy Butler with him, are you going to tell him no?
Well, no, I understand that, but nowhere in that conversation they discussed Kyrie Irving. No.
Just because they didn't. I'm adding Kyrie Irving in there as a trio of players. The possibilities, I think, are there.
Now, let's step back, right?
Because
in 2010, right? In 2010, right?
Just 1 second. For Philadelphia right now, if Jimmy Butler were to opt in, they'd have $67 million committed to the cap. So they'd be under the cap. So
if Butler opts in,
even if he opts in to that 19 million, they'd be under the cap. So he's going to opt out, right? He's going to opt out, which means they're going to have, they're only going to have $47 million committed to their cap, which means even if it were that both teams needed to be under the cap to do a sign and trade, Philadelphia and New York would both be under the cap.
I think the 47 seems low. Is it 40? Is it just does the 67 include Butler's player option?
So you have Joel Embiid makes $27 million in 1920. Okay. Jimmy Butler's $19,841,000 in 1920. Ben Simmons, $8 million. Jonathan Simmons, $5.7. Zaire Smith, $3 million. Jonah Bolden, $1.7. James Ennis, $1.8, and that's a player option, right?
Oh, okay.
So they'd have only $47 million on the cap in 1920, right? Which means, well, that's when Jimmy Butler opts out. So that means that both teams would be under the cap. So this is the reason why it is plausible. Not saying that, if the Knicks wanted to trade the first, second, third, fourth, fifth pick for Jimmy Butler and other assets, it's very plausible that you could bring those three players to the Knicks in 1920.
The question is, if you could do that, if you're willing to trade a pick for Jimmy Butler, right? Would you then try to extend that conversation to someone like Kawhi Leonard?
Maybe. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. The reason why I bring up Jimmy Butler is because KD and Jimmy Butler have spoken, and KD is the prize piece.
Well, now let's put it like this way, right?
At least according to Rick Booker.
Right. So how much would you give to those three then? How would you break down their salary?
Well,
like how much is KD getting? You're gonna get the full 30.
38. KD it's like 38 for KD, 32 for Kyrie, right? And I don't, Butler. It depends on how long he's been in the league, but I'm sure he's somewhere between 32 and 38 as well. If he.
Well, so how do we get to 32 though?
I'm not sure. I don't know. You would have to look at it.
Well,
maybe he would take, or those guys take a little bit less to, a few. Maybe KD says, okay, I'll take 34, and Kyrie says, I'll take 30. And then that opens up a little bit of money, and then Jimmy Butler says,
64,
I'll sign
right?
for this.
Yeah.
You never know. I'll come back to you, Viv.
Yeah, let me look it up and then come. Yeah. I'm just gonna take a look at this up.
Yeah. All right.
Mark, he's gonna take his player option.
Mark, I'm coming to you, brother. What's up, man? So.
Yo, what's going on, man?
KD, Kyrie, Jimmy Butler. Would you take those three? It is plausible that it could happen.
No, it's very plausible. Why I said I would take that is because it would help our defense, number one, with having Jimmy Butler. And the thing is, with Jimmy Butler, he don't respect young guys. He respects people that's better than him or somewhat above his level. He don't like playing with young guys. That's his main issue. I don't think he's staying in Philly. Because when they made trade for Tobias Harris, it was like for a security blanket just in case Jimmy Butler leaves. He's gonna leave because he feels like he's gonna get the full max money. I don't think these teams are running to pay him like that because again, these teams don't want to surround him with the young players because it's gonna hurt them and his growth because he wants to win now. Mm-hmm. So that would make that situation with Jimmy Butler playing for the Knicks in the Garden, something he will relish on because he does show up in big moments. He does play in high big moment games. He don't back down. So if you have Kyrie and KD, there's no way he's gonna, try to disrupt the locker room. You have KD, he's by far better than you, and you have Kyrie that's kind of better than you. And then he know he's going to be the third will. He is the third will as of right now if he goes to the Knicks. And the thing is, he'd rather be in a big market because that's what he wants. So it's either LA or New York, because there was another thing that Minnesota offered Butler to Brooklyn Nets for LeVert, and they declined it. So once you get declined for a player like LeVert, even though LeVert is good, that means teams don't want him. He's not desirable. He's not desirable with these young teams. It's a lot of young teams that don't need him, and he has to be with players better than him. And if he's going to play with us, it's perfect because then we're able to keep Zion. That's why that would be perfect if we could have all three of those guys and keep Zion.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure if you're going to keep. Okay, so this is what I'm going to bring this over. I want you guys to look at this. All right. I want you guys to look at this really, really quick. I'm going to bring this on over so that you can see it. And what I'm bringing over is from Hoops Hype. And this salaries, the Knicks salaries for 2019 and 2020.
What is Jimmy Butler's salary right now?
Jimmy Butler makes $19,841,000 right now. That's what Jimmy Butler makes right now. So he's not going to take too much of a pay cut. Okay? He's going to be looking. Jimmy Butler's going to be looking to, especially if it's true that Jimmy Butler may consider, that he may consider retirement by the age 35, right? Then that means that Jimmy, he's gonna want to get paid his last contract.
Yeah, but
that makes sense.
It's just like with another player. I forgot. It's just like with Kemba Walker. Like he's in that atmosphere. Like, are you really gonna invest $1 million in this guy?
Well. Let's just go over this. Let's look at this for a minute. All right, and so this right here, this is the Knicks. What's up now? You're gonna see this is the Knicks salary for 1920. And Mark, you're still live, okay? In 2019, 2020, the Knicks can give Lance Thomas 7.5. They can. Right? Frank Ntilikina, 4.8. Dennis Smith Jr., 4.4. Kevin Knox, 4.3. All right? Now, they signed some fringe guys. Okay? We're going to keep Mitchell Robinson's name out of it because we don't want to send the YouTube chat or you guys in a panic. We're going to keep Mitchell Robinson's name out of it. Okay?
Just remember, we have leverage.
Okay. All right.
Jimmy Butler.
Hold up.
Yeah.
So you got Damian Dotson at 1.6. John Jenkins at 1.9. All right. Henry Ellenson has a team option, which they can take the team option. Alonzo Trier as well. 3.5. Henry Ellenson, 1.6. But I don't have those guys. I'm assuming that the Knicks don't take those options. Then you got Billy Garrett at 1.6. So one of the reasons that the Knicks signed some of these guys
to make those trades, make a trade for another big superstar.
If you are going to make a trade, you have some salary. You have people to trade and you have some salary. So the guys that I just named, Lance Thomas, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, Damian Dotson, John Jenkins, Billy Garrett, altogether their salaries are $24,551,417. Right? Now, so now you would have to trade all of those guys just to pay Jimmy Butler $24 million. But let's not forget, you also got a draft pick. That draft pick could be from $9 million down to what, 8 or 7 or 8, right? If they're the fifth pick. I'm thinking, like 7 or 8 if they're the fifth pick. Okay? So you add that. That's $32 million that you can that you can give Jimmy Butler or somebody else in a sign and trade. Right now, is that something that you want to do? I don't know, but it's plausible because you got $73 million and then you got these players that you can throw in to make a trade for someone like a Jimmy Butler, maybe a Kawhi Leonard, right?
Me personally, I would have loved the Anthony Davis or with Kyrie and
Right. I mean, I get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying Jimmy Butler is because, according to Rick Bucher, Kevin
him
Durant,
and KD's talking.
Jimmy Butler, they're talking. So this is a way that you can make it fit. You can make it happen.
But the thing too, Sam, we just want to.
It's plausible.
Because the thing is, we just want to fit him into the salary cap because then we could pay him whatever. It's just about getting him into our salary cap because once we sign KD and Kyrie, that money's going to them. But for some odd reason, I feel like KD is going to take a cut to help the team get better.
Well, I mean, that's possible. That's definitely possible that they, take a cut. Those guys take a cut to help,
Because I think KD just want to get here.
Yeah.
Assign his team, get his team, see what they're going to do around him. Because he knows if he comes here, he's going to put a team around him. And we're eligible to do that. So we have to put that in play where he might take less because KD's not money hungry. He probably is just saying, as I'm trying to get everything I can get. He's gonna get everything he can get once he reaches New York. I don't think he's worried about his NBA salary. It's more about capitalizing his rest of his years. Okay. So I think when he comes here, he can well do that.
Okay. So
double his money.
Let me get back to you. Tony Crow, what's popping, man?
Yo, Black is time. Shout out to the chat. What's good, Tim?
I'm good. Let me ask you this, Tony. I'm pretty sure you were listening in, right?
Yeah.
If we were to try to get KD, Kyrie, and Jimmy Butler, you see, we're gonna have to give up all of our youth to make it happen, including the draft pick. Right, so you're giving up the farm to make it happen. I'll read through it once again. All right, I'm gonna read through it once again. Let's say we were gonna do a sign and trade for Jimmy Butler. Now, whether or not, the Knicks would be under the cap this summer. Philadelphia 76ers are gonna be under the cap this summer. So even if both teams need to be under the cap in order to complete a sign and trade. Both teams are under the cap, right?
Yeah.
So the Knicks would have to give up Lance Thomas at $7.5 million, Frank Ntilikina $4.8, Dennis Smith Jr. $4.4, Kevin Knox $4.3. I'm not including Mitchell Robinson, Damian Dotson $1.6, John Jenkins $1.9, Billy Garrett $1.6. Listen, Billy Garrett, John Jenkins, they don't matter much. Right? Damian Dotson, you'd like to keep him around if you could, but I guess you got to move him. Right? But now you're talking about Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr., and Frank Ntilikina that you got to move. 3 young guys, and it's, especially Kevin Knox. He's a rookie that could
all
turn out to be a player.
That is for a salary match?
Or
that's just for
all that
would
be for a salary match. And then you still don't match the salary. So all those guys that I just named, Lance Thomas, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, Damian Dotson, John Jenkins, Billy Garrett, those salaries add up to $24,551,417. Right? That's giving Jimmy Butler a $5 million raise. He's going to want a little bit more than that if KD and Kyrie both take shave off a little bit of money. KD shaves off $3 million. Kyrie shaves off $2 million. You can probably fit $30 million in for Jimmy Butler if they shave off a little bit. So instead of KD getting 38, he takes 35. Instead of Kyrie getting 32, he takes 30. Right?
Yeah. Then you could trade all those guys,
get Jimmy Butler and keep your first round draft pick?
If we're keeping the first pick and we're keeping Mitch, I would strongly consider it. But
now you'd be giving up some other picks. You'd be giving up some other picks. What'd you say? Say that again.
Because I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should have some type of leverage, sense that they don't want to lose Jimmy Butler for nothing.
Right.
So I think, or maybe that's where us keeping Mitch fits in. But even if we trade all those players, they can't keep all those players. They don't have enough roster spots for all those players. So technically, they would really only be doing it for one or two people.
Okay.
So I'm interested in what the rules are as far as trading somebody and then signing them if they're waived. But I don't know, man. I don't like it. I really don't like it that much because I feel like it's like they have all this talk about the culture, but if there's nobody there to coach her, you know what I mean? Like we'll be all seasoned vets, and there'll be no youth. There'll be no. I don't know, man. I really like this youth movement. If it comes down to choosing between 2 guys and 3 guys, but keeping our youth, I'd rather go for 2 and keep our youth.
Okay.
And that goes either which way, whether it's KD and Kyrie, KD and Butler. Because even with Kyrie coming, we have a glut at point guard, so something has to be done. We can't keep them all. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I think I'm more on the side with keeping our youth and building with the youth, whether that's 1 guy or preferably 2 guys coming in. I don't want to gut the whole youth movement.
Okay. I get it. I understand. Yeah, I feel you. Hey, Tony, stay on the line for stay on the line for a minute. I'm gonna come to Viv, right? Because he's I was looking at the YouTube chat, and he said that the base year compensation rule won't allow it. I want to hear what Viv has to say because I'm reading about the base year compensation rule right now. Okay. So I want to hear, but stay on the line. All right, and we're gonna see what's up. All right, Viv, go ahead, man.
All right, so listen, I was looking into the base year compensation rule, right?
Right.
So basically what happens is when someone is going to sign and trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's take Jimmy Butler, right? He's making like around $20 million, and let's say he does a sign and trade for, I don't know, $32 million, right?
Right.
And then that puts them above the cap. What happens is that when you do the sign and trade, what happens is the outgoing salary for Philadelphia is actually not the $32 million, but it's rather the $20 million.
Okay.
So it's basically like the lower of like whatever, it's the greater of I think whatever his previous year's salary was, or 50% of whatever he's making in his new salary.
Right.
So if he makes 32, clearly like the previous year's salary is greater. So $20 million is the baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically you can only take back, I believe, 20 million. You can only basically take back $20 million. And then, then the real thing is, okay, how do you match those $20 million? And then basically, so that's where it kind of gets like really tricky, right?
So then the Knicks have to match another $12 million if you're going to give them 32, or if you're going to give them 30, then the Knicks.
Here's the thing, right? So then the Knicks can only send back the max is like $25 million.
Right, the Knicks can send back like $25 million. So
yeah,
but the way that it could still happen, so the Knicks could only send back, let's say, $25 million. If if KD and Kyrie both take a little bit less, now you have some salary cap space to chew it up.
But yeah, so the tricky part is that you have to technically be under the cap to really absorb it, right? Because the 32 still counts as 32 on the Knicks books, right?
Right.
So when the sign and trade happens, the 32 will still count as the Knicks. So if the Knicks are above the cap, they will still have to do some maneuvering to make sure that they can still fully absorb the 32.
They can fully absorb.
See, that 20 and the 32 is going to leave a gap, right? That $12 million gap, that trade wouldn't work if they're already above the cap, because it's, you know, they'd have to shed some more salary. So more salary has to go. That's going like a separate trade.
Right. And right. So they'd have to shed some more salary, which goes into Frank Ntilikina being possibly traded, or other players possibly being traded at the draft, which has kind of been out there. So the Knicks would have. Yeah,
but here's the problem with the draft. Like, that's what everybody's saying. Everybody's saying, like, we're going to trade like a guy like Frank Ntilikina in the draft, right? If they send you back someone that's on contract, that doesn't really help anything, right?
No. They probably trade him to a team that can absorb his contract, and the Knicks take back a second-round draft pick or something like that. That way they get Frank.
Yeah, but how many teams are there that can do that? That's my problem.
I don't know. I mean, from what I've read, this is what something that the Knicks are looking to do. So
no, I mean, that's just reading it, but like, how many capologists are there? Like, you know, my point is this: like, the teams that would absorb Frank Ntilikina, like, to be practical, right? Yeah, there's not that many that have the cap room to fully absorb his contract. He's making $4.8 million next year.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a lot of money for a team.
No, but like, the teams that would probably want him probably above the cap, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you have to look.
Phoenix will want him?
No.
Phoenix might not.
They won't want him. No. Why not? They got their point guards.
Huh? They got their point guards?
Well, they'll get a point guard in this draft. They'll be fine.
Yeah, but they may not. But they still may, they may want to have other.
They got the other kid from France.
Point guards. I mean, I don't know. I think it's possible. I'm not going to put anything past Steve Mills and Scott Perry, because they've been able to do.
No, but the base year compensation is the reason why there's not many sign and trade agreements. Especially, you know, what most likely will happen is that you're like one of those teams that's above the cap, and that's what, you know, then the finagling becomes very tough.
I mean, I get that, but both teams are well below the cap for 19.
They're not well below the cap, though, because the problem is this, right? If you sign Jimmy Butler to a $32 million deal, right?
Yeah.
You are coming and you sign, say, to, you know, whoever they draft, right? They pretty much, I think they'll hit the cap. Because Tobias Harris makes, I think, like $16 million this past year, right?
Right, but this is if they, you know, I mean, they would have to know that 3 guys are coming, right? And then you strategically sign people so that you know, okay, we've signed KD for this much, we've signed Kyrie for this much cap space is left. Now, if we do a sign and trade, we have enough room to absorb his the remainder of the money. So, you know, we can only take back, or we can only give out $25 million in salary or whatever, but we have enough to absorb it. I mean, if everyone's working together, it is possible. I think it's possible and plausible that it could happen.
I mean, anything's possible, right? But I'm trying to be practical here, Sim. Like, you know, it's like, you know, the moving of money around just makes it a whole lot tougher.
The NBA is not always practical. I mean, we've seen things happen.
That's my point, Sim. That's my point, right?
I mean, you say you're trying to be practical, right? You say, I'm trying to be practical. But what I'm saying is, we've seen things happen in the NBA. I mean, if it can happen, if it's possible.
What's the last sign and trade you remember, Sim?
I mean, I don't know. But if it's
I'm telling you, what's the last sign and trade you remember?
If it's possible to happen, then why can't it happen if it's possible? That's what I'm saying.
If it was possible, they would have done it a long time ago, wouldn't they?
Why would they have done it a long time ago?
You would have seen a lot more sign and trades. You would have probably seen, you know, if you could have done this easily, right? Wouldn't you have seen more sign trades?
There's a lot of teams that's not over the cap. Most teams are over the cap, but now you talk about 2 teams who are well under the cap.
Yeah, but it's,
I'm ruling it out, man.
2 questions real quick.
Go ahead.
I believe, a statement. I believe David Lee was a sign and trade when he went to the Warriors.
David Lee was a sign and trade. He was a sign and trade.
But I got a quick question about maybe Viv, you could do some research on this. I'm a little lazy. But what's the rules as far as poison pills or the reverse, where let's say you sign a guy for 2 years, $60 million, and he gets 20 the first year and 40 the next, or any variation of that?
Yeah, that only works for restricted free agents, so it won't apply for any of the three, like the players you're talking about, because they all unrestricted free agents, so it doesn't come into that. That only poison pills for restricted guys. That's like the only thing. Like if you're gonna do it, you would give a guy like D'Angelo Russell, you could do it, but I mean, otherwise you don't see those poison pills. The last poison pill I saw was they gave Otto Porter like a 4-year, like $106 million deal, but the poison pill at that time was just like they got more money. They had to pay him more up front, and he had a trade kicker.
So let's see.
That's what I'm saying. The reverse of a poison pill will be backloading the contract.
Yeah, but you can. So the way the backloading is, you can only backload by a certain percentage above, like. So you can't do do a balloon style where it's like, all right, you do 20 and 40. It has the salaries have to go up, within a certain reasonable percentage
each year, like 7.5% increase each year or something.
No, like that average amount has to stay similar. Now the payout can be different. Like that's a cash payout could be a poison pill, but in terms of actual cap impact, no, that stays constant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can kill them with the cash payout though. That's how you kill small market teams.
Yeah, and look, and we'll see how it happens, because Jimmy Butler may not take the full. He may agree to $25 million. I mean, just saying.
Honestly, I don't think his market will be matched. I think if he goes out there and explores his options with every team, I think maybe 1 or 2 teams offer him max, and I'm not for sure about that. I think maybe like the Lakers on a desperation may offer him a max, but I don't see his value being maxed throughout the league.
I mean, I'm just saying if the possibilities are there, both teams are under the cap. I understand what you're saying, Viv, that there's a lot of things that would have to happen, but when I'm looking at it, I don't see how it's not possible that those things don't happen, that those things can't happen. Matthew Williams says I'm talking in circles. This is not happening. Well, there's a lot of things that people said are not happening in the NBA, and then it happens. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Viv is not definitively saying it's not going to happen. I'm not definitively saying that it's going to happen. We're just speaking of possibilities. So to just say, Matthew Williams, to just say this is not going to happen, you know what? Maybe there's only a 10% chance that it happens. Who knows? But you can't just sit there and say that it's not going to happen, because the possibilities are there. I mean, what happened in 2016? Matthew Dellavedova was signed. There was a sign and trade for Matthew Dellavedova, I think, 2016. I don't know if that was the last one, but he was signed and traded to the Bucks.
So Sim, let's step back for one moment. Let's look at Philadelphia real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Philadelphia got $67 million. So let's say Butler opts out, right?
Yep.
So that means Butler, that still gives you the $20 million cap hold, right? Because I guess you technically, just because you had to renounce his cap hold, right? So you're at like $47 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you renounce everybody else, right? I guess you renounce. They got to keep. I guess someone got to stay. Let's say they keep Harris. So that Harris cap hold is gonna be like $20 million, I guess. That leaves $67 million. What's cap? They have like $36 million.
$109 million is the projected.
$39 million, right?
The projected salary cap, I think, is $109 million.
It's 109, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say the Sixers use some of their picks, right? Their picks will come with like $2 million, $1 million, whatever.
Yep.
So they'll have let's say they have a cap space of I don't know, let's say $30 million, right? I would say $30 to $40 million. Now some of these players that they're going to probably re-sign, they're going to have to keep them on they'll have to keep them their holds, right? Because I think
Right.
they're not just gonna field an empty team. They're gonna if Butler's not staying, then my bet is Harris is staying. So that $22 million is probably gonna that hold is probably gonna stay. Yeah, that's why they made the trade, right? And obviously, Redick's gonna be part of that plan too. So that $15 million hold that might go down, but I'm assuming he's gonna be there. So slowly and steady, those, and then you got the income surcharge to be like $5 million, right? So let's say that's $30 million, right? Before Butler. So I guess if you do it 25, right? I guess you're still at $20 million then. So I guess then it's a real question. Okay, so who would Philly want in a sense for Butler? Does Philly really? I mean, does Philly just want people just because they can get them?
Well, I think what would happen is, if Jimmy Butler, according to Rick Bucher, he doesn't want to be in Philadelphia no matter how much they win or lose. He doesn't want to be there. I guess they would probably feel, we get something. If we can get a Kevin Knox for him, we can get a Kevin Knox and Dennis Smith Jr.
Would you give up picks in that sign trade?
I mean, I wouldn't want to.
If they ask for it.
Man, I'm not trying to give up the first year, like this year's pick, but future picks, yeah, possibly so. I don't know how much I value Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I mean, this question, where's the breaking point in
right.
If they start to ask, okay, is this $20 million? It's obviously going to be, Kevin Knox, let's say Dennis Smith Jr., let's say Lance Thomas, and let's say, I don't know, a pick, right?
Yeah.
Where do we say no?
Yeah. Hey, Guillermo, what's going on, man?
Yeah, Sim, just no offense. Where the hell does this make sense from a basketball standpoint? Like, why are we trying to reason with Jimmy Butler because he says he wants to come here? Who cares where he wants to go? Like,
I'm not.
This guy's been a.
Well,
no, I'm not coming at you. I'm not coming at you.
I know, but my question for you is this: if KD, he's the prime. He's the ticket, right? If KD, which Rick Bucher, and I don't know if you've seen the video earlier, says that KD and Jimmy Butler have talked about teaming up to play either LA or New York. If KD wants Jimmy Butler, he says, I want Jimmy Butler to come with me to New York. Or we can go to the Clippers.
Okay, then Sim.
No? Are you telling
how much can you stomach of three guys who have been known to have perceived character issues around the league? How comfortable do you feel, Sim, with those three guys basically running the team and the organization? That's what it's going to come down to.
I agree with you there. There could be some combustibility, right? Because you're
giving big money to three guys who have had injury. They have, outside of Katie, having injury history.
Mm-hmm.
Butler's not terribly efficient, he's not that proficient as a scorer. He's a good defender, but he also had injury history as well, and the attitude. And these are three guys who are getting together to all play with each other. Two of them won championships, and one, I guess, is on the back end. Will be on the back end of his career. You're giving them big money. I'm just saying, how comfortable do you feel? Sometimes you have to enjoy it, because put like this. Look, KD seems like he's burned his bridge with the Warriors, right? And the Clippers seem to be hell bent on getting Kawhi Leonard, and they have a good structure there, and they're in the playoffs now. So they don't. Not say that they wouldn't like KD, but if they get Kawhi. Do they really? I'm not saying would they need him, but KD doesn't become as big a priority. So I think sometimes the Knicks, I'm not saying that we don't go after KD, but I think you have to put your foot down like, hey, look, KD and Kyrie,
all right,
we'll take you guys. Because, look at the market. I'm not saying KD wouldn't have a spot, but if he's somebody who wants to go to a place that can build his own, New York is perfect. Jerry West is doing a great job with the Clippers. Right now they're, competing with the damn Warriors. That's a team that tried to fail, and they're failing up. They're feeling upwards, which is amazing. I would love that to happen to Knicks. So I just think that KD doesn't have as much leverage as he has with the Knicks. Even though, yes, we won him. He wants to come here. But no, not Jimmy Butler. I'm not down with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a cancer to whichever team that he goes to that has a bunch of young kids.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of young kids on the team. You can see him get into arguments with Mitch Robinson. Maybe, he might like Mitch Robinson because of his fight personality. But a guy like Knox, a guy like Trey that we're still trying to develop as assets that we can possibly trade if they build up in value, or assets that can build this team. Jimmy Butler's going to destroy that. And then you have Kyrie too, and too much. It's too much.
All right, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
So you don't want Kyrie, you don't want Jimmy Butler, even if it costs us KD.
Did you hear him, Guillermo?
Even if it costs us KD.
See, that's.
I don't see. Sorry to cut you off. I just don't see. The funny thing is that KD has played with a strong character like Butler before, and with less of a bad character personality in Russell Westbrook. And even though Butler's not running the point, Butler wants to play his way, and we've seen that fail. And KD is very soft mentally.
I disagree.
I just see that combusting, and it's hard because I want KD on his team so badly, but KD, Kyrie, Butler with little financial leverage to do anything else. And you talk about three guys who are, Kyrie's going to be 27, 28. The rest of the guys are going to be 30 and above. Two guys with bad injury history, or not bad, but some type of injury history. I think that
Hey, Sid,
I might pass.
Say that again, Tony.
Let me say a couple things real quick. I disagree 100%. Jimmy Butler, and I'm not even a big fan of his, but he is actually perfect for New York. He's the kind of guy that will thrive in New York. He's had issues with teammates, but his issue has been about their hustle, their heart, their effort. It's never been about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think a guy like Trier would thrive under Jimmy Butler. I think they're the same personality, and their work ethic is what gets them to be who they are. I'm just really opposed to getting rid of the youth. I think he could work with youth. I think it's almost like tough love. Everybody can't take the same type of motivation. Some people get yelled at and kind of like, crawl under a rock. Some people get motivated by that. I think the young guys that we have would be motivated by Jimmy Butler. I think Dennis Smith Jr. would be motivated by him. I think Trier would be motivated by him. Frank can only go up. I think the defense will be a good starting point, a good mentor point with Butler. So if it's Butler coming with KD, I'm all for it. And I honestly think that's more of a fit than KD and Kyrie. Because, again, we're going to have to make a lot of different moves and decisions with the rest of our guards.
Yeah. Okay.
If we bring in a KD and a Butler, it's almost like a perfect, there's not much maneuvering we got to do. There's not much positioning we got to do with our guards. Everybody fits right in. Yeah. That's my thoughts on that.
All right.
But Butler would I think he would thrive here, and I think the young guys that we have, the particular ones, I'm not saying like all young guys, but ours, I think they would learn valuable lessons from him and be motivated.
Yeah, I mean, if it happened to be that it was all three of them, there wouldn't be any young guys here. But if it ended up being just like
that is a fact,
right? But if it ended up being KD and Butler, they probably could. Now, would he be able to? The rumors have it. I mean, obviously, there's been some things to substantiate those rumors. But, the rumors have it that he's not good with the young kids. We'll see. Let me get to my man right here with the Knicks hat. What's going on,
hey,
my
Tim,
man?
I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back a little later. Try to catch the end of the stream.
All right, bet.
All right, one, my brother.
Peace. All right, go ahead, my man.
What's going on, son?
I'm good. What's up? What's your name?
Not much, man. I just see it as you pretty much had to do whatever you had to do. I guess if KD wants, whatever KD wants, you got to give it to him. I mean, I think it'd be a mistake not to. But I kind of agree with Grandma. I don't want both. I don't want Butler at all.
Okay.
I just think Butler. I mean.
So then, like Grandma was saying, where do you put your foot down?
That's a good. I don't know. I mean, that's one of them situations where. I mean, the Knicks they haven't been able to get anybody for years, and to be set up in this position to be able to get players. I mean, it's been so long. When is this time going to happen again? So you do whatever you had to do to try to secure KD. Unfortunately,
I mean,
I don't see.
That's the thing that I hope the Knicks don't fall into. If they do go get Jimmy Butler, right, then let it be because they wanted to get Jimmy Butler, right? They felt like, this was a good match. I don't want them to feel hijacked by a player. That's not healthy to any organization to me.
I agree with that, but you got to remember where we're coming from. Like the Knicks coming from, we couldn't attract anyone. So I mean, if think about how it would look is if the Knicks have a chance at KD, and just because they don't want him to bring who they want him to bring, the deal don't go through. We gonna look like the laughing stock, and we might not be able to get anybody because that's gonna loom large for us throughout the league. So I mean, you pretty much have to. I mean, I prefer, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah, who knows how it's gonna go down, man.
It's just. I mean, we just don't know at this point. Like, maybe. Maybe it's just. I mean, we right now. I mean, we really don't know. Like, I go through it every day. I listen. I watch almost every day. Normally the day after, but I'm on vacation this week, so I can get on with y'all live. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I just don't. I just don't see how. You get a guy like KD, one of the best, probably but he's willing to come here. You're not going to try to accommodate him. I mean, most teams, that's what you have to do for superstars. Yeah. And I mean, the Knicks, they're going to have to, try to, acquiesce to a lot of things that he wants. Maybe this Jimmy Butler thing, I'm just hoping it's a joke and it's more about Kyrie because I just think KD and Kyrie would just make more sense. But like I said, you just can't turn down a chance to get the best player in the league. Yeah, that if the Knicks do that, we might be another 15, 20 years in trying to get a player of his caliber.
Yeah.
Without drafting him.
Yeah, so yeah. Hey, what's your name, my man? What's your name?
Tay, man. Tay.
You from Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell. I could tell. Definitely. No, hey.
The accent?
Yeah, I could hear it. I could hear it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into one more call. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm just down in DC, man. So we might be able to
Yeah. I know, man. When I heard you was down there watching when the Wizards came in. I mean, when the Knicks came against the Wizards, man, I wanted to shoot down with you, but that was the day of the Ravens Steelers, man. And,
okay, yeah.
My 11-year-old, he wasn't trying to hear it. He wasn't trying to hear it. Not that day.
Yeah, I feel you.
I had to go with him, man.
Yeah, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. I'm gonna take one more call, man. Yeah. I'm gonna take one more call. Oh, Mark, got something to say? I'm gonna take one more call on this KD Kyrie, and then we're gonna talk about something else. Yeah, Mark.
Real quick.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny, Sim? Now that you think about it, guess what? Since Jimmy Butler has a player option, right? this what the Knicks would do if once KD land, Jimmy Butler would. The Knicks would talk to Jimmy Butler and say, opt in, because his main goal is just to get to a bigger market. So if he gets to a bigger market, I think he will take less. But then again, his play option is $20 million, right? So if he opts into the $20 million, that is the way we'll be able to do a sign and trade with him. So I think when it comes down, they will be talking, and that's how the sign and trade will happen. So we won't have to go up $32 million. I think we just have to land him in a big market. He wants to be in a bigger market. That is his main goal.
Yeah.
So if that happened, we might have not give up all the young players. Just a few pieces we have to give up.
It's going to depend on them talking. And I think, just to answer Viv's question, I've been trying to do some research. I guess one of the last big signing trades was maybe Paul Millsap to the Nuggets.
The Chris Paul. Y'all forgot about that Chris Paul deal to Houston.
Was that a signing trade?
That was the same thing that I'm mentioning, where he opted into his player option and they traded him, and then they gave him the max the next year. That's the way we're going to get Jimmy Butler. If Kevin Durant and them talking, that would have to happen.
And let me see, Chris Paul. Was Chris Paul a signing trade?
Chris Paul was a sign. It was opt-in. It was an opt-in, and then he traded him. He opted into his player option. So the player option that Jimmy Butler has now for $20 million, that he would opt out this year for, he would opt back into that, then talk to Philly, and then do a sign and trade for that. So we wouldn't have to give up the whole of our young players. So that means we'd be able to keep Frank or something like that.
So right now I'm just looking. I don't see if it doesn't have the full thing on the deal, but the Clippers signed and trade Chris Paul to the Rockets and received Patrick Beverley, Sam Dekker, Lou Williams, and a protected 2018 first-round pick.
Yeah.
It doesn't have everything, but
I don't think they're gonna pull up the salary because his salary had went already.
Yeah, so there's possibilities out there. It's possible. So maybe
that's the one they're gonna be aiming for.
So maybe Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul and Paul Millsap looks like it was in the same. It was in the same summer. It was in the summer of 2017.
Yeah, but the Chris Paul deal, that's the one that's gonna happen for Jimmy Butler. Like that's where we're gonna have leverage. Is Jimmy Butler's gonna opt into his contract, and then he's gonna then you're gonna request a trade. And then if he wants to go to the Knicks and they abide by it, that's the sign and trade, just like that. Just the same thing with Houston Rockets. Chris Paul went to him and said, "Yeah, here, I'm gonna opt in and trade me here."
Yeah, so
just like that.
So for everybody in the YouTube chat that was saying I was crazy,
no, it's not crazy. Anything can happen.
It's possible. Anything can happen. Okay, so now let's skip on from that.
Go ahead.
All right, and I know there's some people calling in. They're gonna want to. They're gonna want to jump. They're gonna want to jump in on it and get their 2 cents.
Answer some calls. I'm gonna be quiet.
But I want you guys to think about this. I'm gonna ask this.
Go ahead.
Looking at Dame Lillard, I've always been a big fan of Damian Lillard. Right? I just always liked his. I like the way he carries himself.
He's a leader, sir.
Okay.
He's a galvanizer.
I just like the way he carries himself. I mean, it was cold. It was cold last night when he hit the three, and he didn't even celebrate when he walked off.
He didn't need to.
I mean, that's just cold, right? Where does Dame rank as far as point guards in the league?
Me personally, is Curry. I would put Dame over Kyrie because he's been carrying Portland for like nearly 7 years by himself. Kyrie never did that yet, so you'd have to put Dame there because he's been in the playoffs ever since he arrived to the NBA. So he has a little more stock than Kyrie. Kyrie just now proving that he could lead a good team. Damian Lillard, even though he didn't, got swept, he still led a Portland team in the West as the primary guard. So you would have to put him because he has way more impact on his team.
Okay,
I would put him over Dame, and they're the same players. They're the same players.
So let me ask you. If it
was me, I would take Damian Lillard before I take Kyrie.
If it was possible, and listen, I know that Damian Lillard, he likes being in Portland. He seems like a loyal dude. He wants to be in Portland. I
just like his leader aspect.
But if Just say for some reason, somehow, it became possible for the Knicks to trade for Damian Lillard. Would you get Damian Lillard over Kyrie? You saying he's better? You saying he's better? Would you take him over Kyrie?
Yeah, because of his tangibles. I don't have to worry about him I don't have to worry about him causing ruckus in my locker room. He's gonna lead guys. He's just a guy that he's the face of a franchise, and you hear no drama out of it. Like I said, for this Knicks team, I really don't want drama, but I don't want drama. That's why I would take him. And then he's averaging 28 points. He does the same thing as what Kyrie does. He hits big game shots like Kyrie, but his lead aspect is what's more important to a team than anything.
And I'm looking in the chat right now. A lot of people would take Dame. BN says Dame is no joke.
Dame is no joke.
He ain't no joke. Now,
imagine if Dame played with LeBron.
Yeah,
we would be talking about Dame just the way we talk about Kyrie.
Yeah, it's me says Dame is the best point guard in the league. Do the math.
Not better than Curry. Chill out.
Nady Solo told me, he said stop it. I mean, I know he's saying stop it about the possibilities of, listen, you're right. Dame does not want to leave Portland, I know. Z says yes. Alawai says hell yeah. Let me see who else I got up there. I missed somebody. D Public Enemy says yes. Sean Meyer said he would. BN says yes. Lee Jones says of course.
Boys,
I really do like Dame, and he could rap a little bit. You know what I mean?
His album was good. I got that drink on my iTunes. He could rap.
You know what I'm saying? And he could rap. And right now, the Clippers letting Golden State Warriors know they're not joking.
Well, this is the fourth quarter. They're only down by 8. You know they can evaporate that in a minute.
Yeah, they came the ball. Now, how much of this is just some people are caught up in the spirit of the moment because of what happened last night, or is it just it is what it is? I mean, I've liked this guy for a long time, man, and always secretly wished that somehow he would shake free. And every time I heard that he was going and talking to management, I was like, okay, maybe he's going to be available. You can go back and look at some streams where I would always kind of sneak Damian Lillard's name in there somewhere. You know what I mean? I would love for Damian Lillard to be in New York. It would be so big time. Dude, imagine if he hit that shot at the Garden.
Bro.
You seen what it was like in Portland. Imagine if he hit it at the Garden.
Bro.
Oh, my God.
It's not even.
Oh, my God.
You put him. And the thing with him, too, it's like when the moment is there, like his fervor, man, it's just. Yeah. You can count on him, man.
Yeah. Dude, I am so fiending for playoff basketball at Madison Square Garden.
I'm telling you, it's nuts, man. I went to one of their games in the playoffs. I think when they played the Celtics, it's just another level, bro. It is just man. That's where I would spend my money. That's where I would spend my money and have a great time every trip, bro.
Man. I just can't wait for it to happen, man. It needs to happen next year. I am feeling for it, man. I can't imagine if he hit that shot at Madison Square Garden.
Bro, imagine if that was for the finals, like when Kyrie hit it on Golden State. Imagine if Damian hit that for the finals for the Knicks to win a ring. He would be God.
Be crazy.
He would be God.
Sean Meyer said that would be the second biggest shot to Larry Johnson's 4-point game. I mean, that joint, I don't know. That joint might, Larry Johnson's shot was incredible, man.
It's iconic, but if Damian Lillard hit a shot like that for a ring, he would trouble. We will eradicate what Larry Johnson did. We don't even know who he is if Damian Lillard did that. Crazy?
Man, next year, man, we got.
And that's what I want, Sim. Just get these boys in here because I want playoff basketball. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of going to bed mad. I'm tired. I need to see my team blue and orange on my television screen, man. I'm tired.
Yeah, I feel you. Let me see. Let me get around here. Viv, what do you think, man? Dame, where's he ranked? Point guard in the league.
Man. Tier. If he's not like a bottom tier 1, he definitely like a tier. He's like a high tier 2 point guard for me. Now, my tier 1 point guard, I'm trying to think, who's my tier 1 per se. I mean, obviously the Currys and them in the world, but yeah, he up there. He's a stone cold killer. I'm just gonna tell you that. And he's a very fun player to watch. If it came down to trade, I would love it. It's just not a conversation that's practical, but I'm just thinking the way that I think he just loves the city so much and fans. But if it ever came up to that point, well, I'll be down.
Yeah. I just can't see him. I don't see him leaving, especially if KD leaves Golden State. If Golden State breaks down this year, right?
Yeah, it's a whole paradigm shift. It's a huge
yeah. Why would he even consider leaving Portland? Because
he don't want to ruin what they have there. Where if he got traded, that means mostly like CJ McCullough will get traded. He don't want to do that.
Right.
He's thinking of everybody else on the team but himself. He ain't like LeBron and they think for themselves. He's thinking for others. That's what a leader's about. And that's why I love him, because he's not just thinking about himself and what he can accomplish. He's going to do it here and he can still be competitive. They've been competitive for 7 years. It's just that they didn't get that one player that they need. Mm-hmm. But if they had Nurkic, I still think they could get to the Western Conference Finals and then lose to Golden State. But the thing is, he's about doing it in a way where it's more respectful. So when it happens, that's the way you should play the game. Yeah. Not join the Monstars and then get the ring and then think that you was the main reason why you won it. No, you was part of it.
All right, my man right here. I forgot your name.
Tay.
Yeah. Your take, man. Dame Lillard.
I think Dame. I think 4. I'm looking at 4. I think he slid Russ out. Russ slid 5. I it would be nice, man, but I don't see it happening. I think.
Oh yeah, that's not.
If I had to choose between he and Kyrie, I'm taking Kyrie. So people just remember what have you done for me lately. So I think most people see what happened yesterday, and it's fresh in their mind. But Kyrie. How many moments have Kyrie given us, man?
Yeah. When Kyrie has a monster game, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna ask, is it Dame or Kyrie?
Exactly.
When Dame, shoots 38% and only scores 15 points. One of these playoff games and Kyrie drops 40, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna ask, and everybody, Kyrie is way better than Dame. Watch.
Oh man,
we gonna mark it down.
Kyrie unstoppable in my opinion, man. Dame had, Dame had a great series, no question. But man, Kyrie you put Kyrie and KD together on this team, man. That'd be a problem, man. The other pieces around it, I think, the front office, they would have to do some, like you said, you always talk about, some of the young guys had to go because you had to bring some veterans in, which I agree with. But, I just think that putting those two together, man, those two guys, you can't really stop. I think it just create more opportunities for the young guys that they decide to keep to get better because, they pretty much have open looks. Yeah. You can't stop everybody. You gotta give something up.
Yeah, but they don't got time to play with young cats. They can't wait on Knox to become something. We have a timeline with KD. Yeah.
No doubt. I'm talking about the we stay. The ones who's going to be here. The ones who's going to be here. They'll have opportunity to grow. And like a lot of people always talk about, bringing in KD and Kyrie. If you bring them in, what that does is it changes the fortune.
They get way more open shots.
Because 5 years from now, like everybody can say, "Oh, KD's 30." When KD leaves, if KD has a great experience here, we win and do all that. What that's going to do is make other superstars feel more comfortable coming here. Right now, this is the first time we're in position to even be in a room with any of these dudes.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
To actually get one, like I look at it from that standpoint. Okay, KD come here, they win, they might win a the next superstar, whoever that may be, he'll look at New York differently than some of the guys have been looking at us in the past. So all it's going to do is it's just going to change the fortune of the franchise, make us look better opposed to where we are now, where we haven't won a forever and we can't get anything. So I think it's a win-win if he come here, because I'm not worried about if he's going to be concerned with winning. I know that, with him having the ties of Rich Kleiman and Rich Kleiman being a New York guy, I'm quite sure he's going to let KD know what the expectation.
KD put his Malibu house on sale today for $13.5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
Why are you selling his house?
That's nothing for them. That's nothing for them.
Because sometimes he might have bought his house and it was 1.2 million, and now it's worth 2.1 million, or 2.2 million. So he's selling it so he can make it.
Sam,
you never know.
Sam,
you never know.
Why is he bringing it? Why is his show airing in New York City this year?
Why is he what?
Why is his room the show the border room? Why is it airing in New York? It's going to take place in New York.
Rich Kleiman. I'm thinking it's Rich Kleiman.
I don't know, man. I mean,
it's a rich guy.
His guy. I don't know. We gonna find out real soon, couple months, man. But hey, I'm about to head up. I'm about to head up out of here tonight.
All right,
why don't you guys give me some last words, man? Tay, since you're up, won't you give your last words for the night?
Man, look, I'm just looking forward to the 14th first. We got take steps. The 14th, like I already told my wife, I said, look, I'm shutting myself off. Once they get to 6, no, man, straight up. Once they get to 6, I told my wife I'm leaving my phone. I'm going to sit in the car, man. You don't wait for my son to come get me, man. I'm talking about 11-year-old. Look, man.
That's what's up.
Look, man, wait till the number 1 pick is picked, and then come get me out the car, man.
I feel you.
I said, every time I see my friends from high school, man, they be like, don't tell me you still a Knicks fan, man. And they just shake their head, man. I be like, yeah, I'm still a Knicks fan, man.
Yo.
All they do is shake their head at me, man.
That's about to be over real soon, man. Be on live too when we had when they do the lottery. I'm gonna be on live, man, so we can.
No doubt. I'm gonna be on right with y'all, man.
No doubt. All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Look forward to you. I'll be on Friday. I'll be on Friday, same time.
Right?
Yep, I'll be on Friday, same time. And I got the hip hop channel tomorrow night, though. I'm gonna do a hip hop channel tomorrow.
Oh man,
night.
I'm drafting, man. Ravens draft tomorrow, man. I gotta.
Oh yeah. You gotta take care of that. Yeah, you gotta take care of that.
We gotta get some new toys, man.
I hear you.
Tomorrow we get a new toy, man.
All right. All right, Tay. Appreciate it, man. Later.
All right, man. I'll holler at y'all Friday.
All right. Peace. Viv, you want to give me your last words?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun summer. I was actually trying to look at the cap situation in a little more detail after our conversation. So I'm trying to look at the actual numbers per se, but it's almost crazy if you think about it, right? Going into the summer, we have 4 guaranteed contracts, 1 draft pick, and perhaps a ton of club options for some min players or whatever. So really, that's like almost like 5 or 6 players, or Lance Thomas, 6 players to work with, right? Mm-hmm. And then we got $70 million to fill up the rest of the space, $70 to $73 million. 73 if we don't get Zion, 70 if we do get Zion. So yeah, it's 70 to fill up 9 roster spots. So,
well, those
actually not really 70 plus, vet mins and MLE
and mid-level exceptions. So yeah.
Well, yeah, there's only really one mid-level exception, and it's not as high. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he fills up. But yeah, I'll have to follow up with you on this Butler thing. I gotta really look at how it would actually work in the sequence of how things would happen from a practical standpoint.
Yeah, look at it, and maybe you can if you could maybe we could break it down and I could put it on a graphic and we can look at it Friday. Not just Butler, but anyone who could possibly do a sign.
Yeah, I mean, any of the sign and trade is a good way to break it down. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do some more research on it, and hopefully I can break it down for Friday's show. And tomorrow's we'll just keep it hip hop. So
yeah, we're just gonna keep it hip hop. We might touch on it. Maybe talk a little bit about the draft, the NFL draft, or something like that. But
of course,
we gonna keep it hip hop tomorrow. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. All right, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell. You get a notification anytime that I go live. Tomorrow night, I'm debuting a hip hop channel. I'd like you guys to be there. It's called The Front Stoop. And right now there's no graphics up on the channel because I have somebody drawing up my graphics, and it's not gonna be ready for it's not gonna be ready for a couple of days. But it don't matter. It doesn't matter because we still gonna go ahead and talk it up. So in a second, I'm gonna put, as soon as I find my link, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link up here, so you guys can go ahead and subscribe to the channel, get that notification, and join us tomorrow as we debut the Front Stoop hip hop channel. Tomorrow we're gonna debut with who is your top 5. That's what we're talking about tomorrow. Who is your top 5? And we're gonna get into that a little bit. About who's your top 5, and there's gonna be a bunch of other topics that we discuss. So it's not just gonna be that. Basically, the Front Stoop is about hip hop, society, and life. So there's a range of things that we can discuss. All right. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it as well. All right. So, but Viv, yeah, that'd be great, man, if you're able to, get that information, and then we can, we can make a nice little graphic. I'll make a nice little graphic, and we can talk.
Yeah, either that or I can do a share screen or something. I gotta figure out. I think I could do a share screen on here. Okay. Maybe that could help. That could also help too.
Yeah. There's to do it. There's a way to do it. We can work that out. Yeah. It's not a problem.
All right, cool.
All right, cool. Mark. Go ahead, Viv. You about to say?
No, I was gonna say I thought you logged me off, but yeah. No, I'll see you. I'll definitely see you tomorrow.
All right, no doubt. Peace. Mark, it's on you, man. Yeah. Last words, man.
I said I want to feed off what the last guy said. Like when you talk about when people say you still a Knicks fan, the Knicks is like a bad chick that you want, and then you trying to do your best to get with her, but she's just not giving what you want, but you still going after. That's the Knicks for a lot of us. Like they're just so intriguing for some reason, but you just keep coming back because you just think something good's gonna happen. You think something good's gonna happen, and man. Listen, man. I tell you, May 14th, Sim. If we get the number 1 pick, I might end up at your crib. I might teleport to your crib and say, take you out for the night.
You might.
That deserves a celebration. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's gonna change the whole landscape, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, we about to be the talk of the city. Jesus Christ. But I'm gonna let you get out of here, Sim. Shout out to the chat. See you tomorrow.
All right, and I'm getting ready, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I'm going ahead and I'm putting this in the YouTube channel, in the YouTube chat. All right, go ahead. You can subscribe. Tomorrow it's gonna be on.
Thank him, Draymond.
It's gonna be on the Front Stoop, hip hop, society, and life. I just put it in there. I put it in there one more time. The Front Stoop, hip hop, society, and life. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm out for the night. Thank you guys for staying up with me, joining me. I'll be on tomorrow night on the Front Stoop, and then I'll be back on Friday night. All right, so make sure that you join me. We're gonna finish watching the playoffs. I'm going to go finish watching the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers. Right now, the Clippers up 6 points. All right, I'm going to go finish watching that. And I'm out for the night. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. I will catch y'all tomorrow night on the front stoop. Peace.
All right, Jimmy. Oh, man, it's going to be... You got work in the morning, sir?